listening to the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. Radio's authority on the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology, celebrating 25 years of broadcasting. Broadcasting around the world and to the great beyond.
The X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X-Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Tell you that I grew up with Red Omen, and boy was he a neat kid. He had all sorts of really cool things to play with, like a plutonium spaceship lunchbox and a bathtub full of Lego. And I didn't believe you when somebody said that he fled with Jimi Hendrix to a UFO type base camp up on Machu Picchu. Up on Machu Picchu. I said, excuse me, it's not my fault. He's playing the crime.
And welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. I am Rob McConnell, and we're coming to you live and around the world on Mutual Broadcast Network, X-Zone Broadcast Network, the Talkstar Radio Network, and the all-new IPBN Radio Network. Wow, what a great song. Red Omen by a good friend of mine, Ed Roman, who's going to be joining us in a couple of minutes here on the X-Zone. After all, this is a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, and the X-Zone comes to you Monday through Friday, right here, as I said, on the Mutual Broadcast Network, the Talkstar Radio Network, X-Zone Broadcast Network, and the all-new IPBN Radio Network. If you'd like to send an email, xzone at xzoneradiotv.com, on all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV. And our main radio website at www.xzoneradio.com. Red Omen, a great song. I was listening to it earlier today. And I've got to tell you, I love the reggae beat. I love the fact that it talks about Jimi Hendrix, UFOs, Lego, and a plutonium lunchbox. What more can you ask for in a song? Well, the person who wrote this song and is singing in the song is Ed Roman. He is an award-winning singer-songwriter, performer, and multi-instrumentalist from Shelburne, Ontario, right here in Canada. Blurring the lines between pop, rock, folk, and country music genres, Ed's uniquely crafted songs have received regular rotation on more than 100 terrestrial radio stations across North America and more than 400 stations worldwide. It is a 2014 Artist Music Guild Award nominee, a 2014 International Music and Entertainment Association Award winner, a two-time 2015 IMEA Award nominee, and a 2015 and 2016 Jose Show Awards nominee. An Acamedia Awards winner and a two-time Indie Music Channel Award winner. Ed has performed at the Red Gorilla Music Festival, the Millennial Music Conference, and the SS Cape May, and he has toured both New York City and Philly. Recently, this Top 100 MTV.com and number one Reverberation artist traveled to Jamaica to deliver much-needed humanitarian aid to the island while shooting the music video for Jamaica. Joining me now from his home somewhere in Ontario is the one and only Ed Roman. And Ed, always great having you back here in the X Zone. Congratulations on yet more great music.
Oh, Rob, my friend, how are you? And thank you so kindly. I appreciate it.
Man, I love Red Omen.
It's me. It's an anagram of my own name. Language is such an amazing thing, and it's always going through changes and stuff like that. But I'm a storyteller, and a big part of my life, especially my early childhood, and now paying homage to people like Michael Stover and other people like Ken Segrist, who really connected me to a lot of the music scene that's happening in the U.S. So it's a bit of an homage to them, and it's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun creating those kind of tapestries.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, congratulations on the great humanitarian work that you did in Jamaica, my friend. Hats off to you. Made Canada proud.
Well, hey, I'm just trying to give back in some way, and I think that's the mantra for this day and age is for everybody is to try to help out wherever you can. It doesn't have to be just in Jamaica. It could be in your neighborhood, right? Yeah,
but you know what? You are living proof that if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
Well, that's really the message in the record. Red Omen and the duality inside of the name. Red in nature is an attraction color. It's something that you can consume as far as food is concerned, and it's also a warning color in nature that's telling you to stay away from certain things. And an omen itself can be construed as something that is, a good thing. I see it as a good omen. It's a symbol of a sign of some kind, and at the same time, it can be a warning. But ultimately, we have that decision in our life. I think that's what free will is about. And the concept of, if you want to say good and evil, or the dark side or the light side of the force.
Hey, stand by, my friend. We've got...
Afterlife expert Roberta Grimes was the first one to say that dying can be fun. Now her best-selling book, The Fun of Dying, is available in stores worldwide. So if you wonder whether death ends life, how it feels to die, or what heaven might be like, The Fun of Dying was written for you. And if you have always been afraid of death, or if you worry that your life has no meaning, let The Fun of Dying ease your fears and bring new meaning to your life. Nothing said in The Fun of Dying is based on the teachings of any religion. Instead, Roberta draws on evidence to explain how death happens, how it feels, and what comes next. A lot of the best death-related evidence was produced in the first half of the 20th century. When it is put together with recent discoveries, it tells a consistent and amazing story. Roberta Grimes blogs and answers questions at robertagrimes.com. Her wonderful book, The Fun of Dying, is available on Amazon and at stores worldwide wherever books are sold. You're listening to the X Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net.
While science pursues fact, magic accesses the quantum level, bridging random facts to form truth. As long as science and magic remain separate and polarized, the truth cannot be known. I'm Wilda Wiecka. Join me on the Science of Magic radio program dedicated to unification and evolution of consciousness. During each episode, I'll be speaking with experienced and respected scientists and mystics. From astrologers to astronomers, from medical doctors to shaman, the scientific method to dowsing and intuition, we will weave together information from seemingly divergent practices to promote unity and enlightenment. Join me, Wilda Wiecka, and the Science of Magic right here on the X-Zone Broadcast Network. For more information, visit www.thescienceofmagic.net.
Linnea Starr began to demonstrate a metaphysical connection to the spirit world as a little girl. Her family noticed the connection, but it was a great-grandmother who told the family that Linnea was indeed gifted. The great-grandmother, who was also gifted, felt that Linnea had indeed inherited these attributes. It has been noticed that oftentimes such things are passed down through the generations. Linnea was also born with a caul, a thin white membrane across a newborn's face. Legend has it that if the baby is born with this caul, the child will have second sight, or what we call psychic abilities. Linnea Starr does past, present, and future, and has the gift of prophecy. It is written within scriptures that if you are able to give factual information, and prophecies indeed come true, the gift indeed comes from the divine realm. Linnea Starr does large interactive groups as well as private gatherings. For more information on Linnea Starr or to contact Linnea for a one-on-one consultation, visit her website at www.linneastar.com. That's www.linneastar.com.
Any other human being who's cruciform control, no longer in search of meaning, I'll utilize my soul to be a messenger, to be a radical, to be love.
All right, he's got everybody around here dancing. Guys, sit down. We're at work. Come on, everybody down. Craig, sit down. Get off the control panels there, pal. No, Craig, you don't look good with dreadlocks, so I don't know what you did with your hair, but get them out. And no, you can't light up. What do you mean? What do you mean I'm a party pooper? Yeah, I know, it's great music. You want a little bit more? Here you go.
Then I think you'll see. Be a messenger. Be a radical, be love. Be a messenger, be a radical.
I had a funny feeling I'd be asking for trouble if I did that. Hey, I'll suffer the consequence, but it's a great music, great song, great guy wrote it. Super producer, Michael Jack. Wow, you guys have got some great music going on here, my friend, with Red Omen.
We're like Godley and Cream, Mike and I. I've been working with Mike since I was 16. That's a long time. I'm not a young peach on a tree, if it will. But Mike is an incredible listener, and he's spent 40 years of his life learning his craft, and he knows when to stand back and let things happen, and he also knows when to step in. And I've learned to relinquish a lot of stuff to Mike in terms of like, look, man, you were there for the recording process, so I'm not going to hang on your shoulder like a parrot and tell you, you know, why is that Tom not up here? Like, he takes care of it, and he knows what he's doing.
You know, you've got such a diverse background. You are such a talented artist. You know, like when you sit down and you were planning, or how did Red Omen come about? Is this something you plan, or is this something that just comes to you in a form of inspiration?
You know, life is the inspiration and living it. You know, I was going through some pretty, you know, emotional, difficult times about a year and a half ago, and you know, we're always trying to find those mantras and spaces that pull us out of those funks. And I have this bathtub in my house that's really old, and I think it's magical. When I fill it with water, I get all these ideas. And while sitting in there one day in a nice warm tub in the midst of this sort of funk, up came this message, and it was love talking to me, as ironically as it was, and it's saying that it's radical to feel love and to love your enemy and to love not only your partner and your neighbors, but even to give love to places that you would think are the darkest spaces in the world. And I think that's a choice that we have today. You know, there's so many things that push us into negative spaces, and whether it's stuff in social media or mass media, for that matter, it's important to remember that that's just superficial. It's not what's really happening in your heart and in your backyard, and to stand up for those things and to talk about them is the most important thing.
You see, many times my listeners around the world ask, why is Canada so special? Well, I mean, besides the everyday knowledge that we invented basketball, right? Like, and we invented the zipper, right?
Yeah.
And so many other things. The rest of the world may have magical carpets, but we here in Canada, the magic bathtub.
Well, you know, I think it's there are magical places everywhere. I think it's where you allow them to manifest. I mean, whether I've anthropomorphized this idea for myself or whatever it is, the reality of it is that, you know, my porch has those sacred spaces, or this tree in my backyard that I like to sit under. It's all how you culture the energy and allow it to flow.
You must have been Sir Isaac Newton in a previous life. You're like sitting under trees.
I grew up on a farm.
Oh my goodness! So Ed, over the years, have you seen any change towards the betterment of this planet, the people who are left with the responsibility of guarding one of the most beautiful gems that has ever been created, this planet?
Every day, man. And you know what? I think more and more that's the message again, and inside of what I'm saying is that we're at the most important time in human civilization where we have a choice. You know, we've always had choices, but there's so many things thrusting us into these, like I said, negative spaces. Yeah, man, every day I turn around and see a beautiful gesture or an act of kindness, and I think that's what we need to keep amplifying. I have to keep reminding myself of that. So, you know, it's a new way of thinking. It's a new way of showing humanity. And the most important thing is that we all know is to act on it. It's one thing to talk about it, but the action speaks louder than words most of the time.
That is so true. That is so true. And I think one of the best kept or the worst kept secrets of all time is that in order for this planet to go ahead, for order of us to forget about all the negativity and wash it away once and for all, is that we have to expel more love. Bring love back into the picture. Raise the vibration rate. Because remember the 60s? I have vague recollections of it. You know, it was all love. You know, make love, not war. You know, peace, man. Good vibes. Everything was positive.
Yeah, even, you know, like, look at my grandmother, Baba. She was like the Yoda of our family. And she wouldn't mind, God love her, me saying that, because that was kind of her headspace about everything. Even people that, you know, she had problems with, she would still kiss them and hug them, and she was always trying to push back that love in some kind of a way. And her mantra in that song, when you talked about it, comes from her. A big part of it is her. When she says, throw it all away in love, That's the concept. And this is a woman who immigrated to a different country, saw the advent of electricity, television, radio, every kind of music that was recorded. Let's talk about them on the music level.
Sure.
Loved a whole bunch of different kinds of art forms, spoke 8 different languages, raised 3 kids. She died at 96 with a smile on her face. And the thing that kept her going was that attitude.
That seems to be an attitude that has been long lost by so many. I think that in today's society, we expect instantaneous results from every situation. You know, the news is instantaneous. We get news from around the world instantaneously. I believe that the same troubles that we see in the world today that so many are just awakening to have been there. But thanks to the advent of modern technology, the awareness is there. And once the awareness is there, then the action to repair, the action to create the positive aspects, the action to make the correct moves can be looked at and said, well, you know, now I know there's a problem. Now we have to fix it.
Right, and that's why even the symbolism on the record is an iconographical rooster. That's sort of the wake-up call, let's say, in that regard. And you're right, we live in a push-button society. That mentality is like, quick fix, what's the answer, push the button. But a big part of what I'm starting to realize, and as we all get older, I think hopefully this sets in, that it's a common sense sort of revolution that needs to occur in that regard. And the less that you pay attention to the machine, the better your life is. That's why I'm a big proponent of growing your own food and gardening and
Sure.
canning and preserving, because it allows me to have that sustenance and continue relationship on a tactical level with my environment, even if it's in my backyard.
Exo Nation, Ed Roman is my very special guest. We're talking to Ed about his new album that is out, Red Omen. Red Omen.
Well done, though. I like that. I love onions.
Yeah.
See, we were just talking vegetable.
There you go. Actually, I used to do the show live from the Red Onion that was the Purple Onion. Some color onion in St. Catharines. And
Yeah, I think it's the purple onion.
the Purple Onion, that's right, on Lake Street. But we're talking about the Red Omen by our guest this hour, Ed Roman, and his website is www.edroman.net. Your music comes out tomorrow, June 7th.
It does. I'm excited. The shipment just came in today. I know Mike got his in Pittsburgh just the other day. He beat me to the punch.
Mm-hmm.
But it's already up for pre-sale. It has been, and I'm excited, man. I'm really happy to bring this music to people, and I hope it makes people feel good and gets everybody thinking and loving.
Well, you've got everybody here smiling and dancing to the music that we played during the intros, and then, of course, they made me pot it up again. So I said pot. I didn't say pot, Craig. I said pod.
He's a Rasta at heart. Look
At heart, you better believe it. All over the place. What's been the feedback so far from those who have had the opportunity of listening to these great songs?
Well, a couple papers in Ohio as well as Pittsburgh. I've already started writing articles saying nothing but good things. A definite must-hear, feel-good tune of the year. I'm liking all that. We've even had people from Northwest Radio already order copies for the stations out there. I'm like, okay, this is good, and it hasn't even come out yet.
That is great. That is great. How many albums have you done all told?
Well, I've probably played on 30 albums, like, of other people's music, but in total now I'm going on my 6th record, because prior to my solo and still playing with musicians from the past, we had a project called Special Ed and the Musically Challenged. We put out 2 records with that band. And, you know, I don't know, somewhere in the lines of 120 or 130 songs that I've contributed that are out there floating around that people can either listen to on SoundCloud or buy or check out on YouTube.
Right.
I'm happy just to keep writing and practicing my craft, Rob.
How has the digital industry helped Canadian musicians as well as our American friends?
Oh, well, I mean, it's made your life a lot easier as far as getting things into people's back doors and making it happen instantaneously. What I've found is that there's now this wonderful cross connection in the digital industry with commercial and licensing, which is also a big part of where the music ends up standing out, and then people end up connecting with it that way. I've gotten onto so many different artists checking out a commercial, and then I go, well, who's this? And then I go out and buy the record.
All right, stand by, my good friend. You and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour.
Yes, sir.
By the way, X-Zone Nation, following the X-Zone Monday through Friday is my good friend Jeremy Scott as he takes his show, Dark 30, to the airwaves. We'll be back on the other side of this break with Ed Roman, www.edroman.com.
Like a vibration occupation.
Wouldn't you love to know the secret to everything? Well then, meet Dr. Kimberly McGeorge and her cutting-edge breakthrough knowledge that combines science with possibility. Dr. Kimberly brings real-life answers and healing to those open to alternative solutions. She teaches solution-based programs and classes that will change all areas of your life forever. Specializing in conscious creation, intuitive readings, and energy medicine, you can rapidly shift health, relationships, business, and money and abundance challenges quickly. Receive her best-selling book, Secret to Everything, at no cost by going to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone. That's right, transformation can start now. Just go to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone and receive Dr. Kimberly's book for free.
You're listening to the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. Thomas Jefferson was a Burgess of 27 when he met Martha Wales Skelton, a 22-year-old widowed heiress who was fondly called Patty by her family. They were married on January the 1st, 1772, and they took up residence in a cabin on the building site on top of a Virginia mountain that Thomas had named Monticello. As Thomas and Patty slowly built their first version of the great house at Monticello, the Revolutionary War was heating up. Patty, with difficulty, bore 5 children, but only 2 girls survived. Thomas's political career developed to the point where he was often away from home, but after he authored and signed the Declaration of Independence in Philadelphia, he resolved never again to leave his wife. He was elected the governor of Virginia, just as that state became the Revolution's last battleground. The Revolutionary War ended in 1781, and Thomas gladly retired altogether to my family, my farm, and my books. But Patty continued to want to bear her treasured husband a son, and late in the summer of 1782, she died of kidney failure at the age of 33, 4 months after having borne yet another girl. Thomas was so devastated by her death that he never remarried. He mourned her for the rest of his life, even as he helped to frame the peace in France and then became the first Secretary of State, the second Vice President, and the third President of the United States. This story is true. Thomas Jefferson was such an obsessive letter writer and record keeper that we know where he was and what he was doing nearly every day of his adult life. Every significant thing he says in My Thomas comes from his contemporary writings. My Thomas by Roberta Grimes is now available at Barnes & Noble, Costco, Target, Books A Million, Hudson Booksellers, Kmart, Walmart, Sam's Club, Walgreens, CVS, and online at Amazon.com. You can visit Roberta Grimes online at www.robertagrimes.com.
The scientist and the mystic have been on an age-old, relentless search with one thing in common. They seek truth. Their paths converge in the 40,000-year-old practice of shamanism, an ancient science delving to the quantum level of life, facilitating healing, manifestation, and evolution. I'm Gwilda Wiyaka. the founder and director of Path Home Shamanic Arts School, a unique Colorado State certified occupational school training shamanic practitioners and teachers. We also provide classes for empowering personal lives through shamanism. Our certification classes are in week-long segments enabling international participation, and online classes and long-distance shamanic healing sessions are available. Come discover the science of magic in the limitless world of shamanism. www.findyourpathhome.com.
Unwilling to be the government's deadly assassin, gifted psychic Kahara Mitchell went AWOL and ended up buried under rubble in the wake of a great tsunami. She regained consciousness far from Earth on the medical ship of a Daguerrean intergalactic fleet. Has she been rescued or abducted by aliens? The Chalice of Carrie, Kahira O'Donnell's latest paranormal science fiction romance, is the passionate story of an Earth woman and her destined mates, twin kings from another galaxy. Kahara uses her gifts fighting alongside Lords Rom and Ra in a war that will determine the destiny of galaxies. The Chalice of Carrie by Kahira O'Donnell is now available at KahiraO'Donnell.com or at Amazon.com.
You're listening to the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. What happened in Benghazi is revealed by Nicholas Genix, author of Obama, Islam, and Benghazi. He informs the American people that President Obama deceived them by advocating a strong foreign policy prior to the 2012 presidential election, and Hillary Clinton supported this deception. As the title infers, there is a connection between Obama, Islam, and Benghazi. Ample evidence informs Americans that Obama's early indoctrination in the Quran developed an affinity for Islam, why the Quran is the source of discontent in many countries, and why the Obama foreign policy deception led to poor military action and caused the loss of American lives in Benghazi. Genix provides 36 questions for the Select Committee on Benghazi to validate if Americans are justified to mistrust President Obama and Hillary Clinton. An overview of Obama, Islam, and Benghazi is presented on the website www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com. Annie Callahan, dedicated to negotiating a position for Earth within the Daguerrean Coalition, had trained for 3 years to become an Earth ambassador. Yet, the very eve of her arrival at the capital ruling planet, she is claimed as destined mate to an oversized, mating-maddened vamp who swears he will never release her. Lord Aztaran, king of the Macian sector, has waited over 900 years for his destined mate. Having found her as an alpha vamp, he is unable to relinquish Annie, virtually holding her hostage until he can claim her. Yet Macians cannot survive without their mate's love. How could he strip her of her citizenship, her ambassadorship, and her freedom and expect to win her heart? With All That I Am by Kahira O'Donnell is the latest book in this exciting series, The Daguerrean Chronicles, guaranteed to keep readers coming back for more. With All That I Am by Kahira O'Donnell is available on Amazon.com and KahiraO'Donnell.com.
At night, we type little things we think will make it right. Will it ever never come to pain. When I was young, I could make it rain. Oh, you treat me like a fool. You think I'm just a fool. The babies cried out.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell. You're listening to my guest, Ed Roman, singing his song, Think I'm Just a Fool. We've been playing cuts off of Ed's new album that is coming out tomorrow. International release date, June 7, 2016. The name of the album, Red Omen. I love it. Ed, congratulations on a super job.
Oh, thank you so much, Rob. And it's always a pleasure to be on the show. I love the topics and what we get to talk about and how we get to talk about it. It's just nice and open, and it's just heartwarming.
Well, thank you, my friend. The new age is coming. Many say the new age is here. What do you see as happening based on the many years you've kept your finger on the pulse of the new age systems, the folklore, the way people act, political, social actions? How do you see the world progressing?
That's a wonderful question, and I think it's ever changing as we learn more and more as we go on, and hopefully it's a never-ending experience. I think that the biggest thing, and I've seen, is that food is, excuse the pun, on everybody's lips.
Yes.
Where it's coming from, who grew it, how it was grown, their connection to those kinds of things. That's a big part of it, because to me, it's also the holistic aspect of what keeps us healthy. When you're active doing those things, for me, people say, well, I can't believe that you're 46. And I'm like, I know some people that are younger than me that look, 3 times as old as I do. and I'm like, well, I keep active. And that's the most important thing. That I think is the biggest part of it, because even just like that song, You Treat Me Like a Fool, marketing and media and the way that it works is always telling you that this is the advantage. But the reality of it is that it's creating a weaker person. And being involved in as many things. We laughed before. I said, well, I grew up on a farm. I was talking to my brother about this. And I said, well, think of it. We were lucky because on a farm, you had to troubleshoot in a multitude of ways.
Yeah.
You had to be careful. You had a heightened sense of perception. You could be crushed by a 1,000-pound animal. You could fall from a haymow. All of a sudden, you need to fix something that's electrically related. You have to fix your tractor. Everything in your mind and your body is continually being used. And I think that's what's the healthiest aspect of the newest, generational movement, is getting back out there and getting your hands into it. Because it's, like you said before so eloquently, it's a push-button sort of society that we've created, but it's not tactically related.
Something that I could never understand, Ed, is that the farmers, big or small, give so much of themselves, their heart, their soul. They feed the world, and yet I don't think the world really understands their importance.
No, man, you're going to make me weep almost, because I get that, because it's not a choice of somebody that's out there trying to make and monopolize in terms of money. They do it because it's a choice. There's a saying that says, if you have the ability to run a farm, you can, and afford to have a farm, you could technically retire. But it becomes and behooves the person and their lifestyles that want to do this, to provide. And that's a beautiful thing, and that's, I guess, why I always encourage people to try gardening, even on a baseline level, because it amplifies exactly what you said, reappreciation for what that is.
I've got 3 or 4 tomato plants at home. I love them. I got excited. I came running into the house the other day, and I said to Laura, well, I've got baby tomatoes. It's like she says, well, yeah, that's what happens when you plant tomato plants. I said, you don't get it. They're on my plants. And to me, this is so rewarding. And yet, we live in a technological world, and one thing that I don't think the people who are so high-tech, they're embedded in their high-tech machines and their iPads, their iPods, their computers. that, God forbid, if we were ever attacked with an EMP or if we get snuffed with another massive solar flare, the technology will not work. But you know what? Mother Nature will.
That's right. And you know what? You know what it is? It's your enthusiasm, Rob, that translates. If that person said, "Yeah, it's a tomato," but you go through the roof.
Yeah.
That's what does it. I remember seeing my dad picking up huge turnips and kissing them. Like,
yeah.
And as crazy as it was, it made me laugh, but it hooked me. It made me realize that there's something special here. You know,
there is a definite connection. Because Mother Nature has been teaching us and showing us from day one that we, human beings, follow the seasons. And many people will say, well, I don't understand what you're getting at. It's very simple. In the spring, it's the season of birth. The summer is the season of maturity. The fall are the golden years. And the winter is time when what people think happens is that the snow falls and that the plants die and that the trees lose their leaves and it's cold and it's barren. But Mother Nature is saying, hey, you bunch of morons, what happens next? It's spring again.
Yeah, that's why good pagans, paid attention to those sun cycles.
Sure.
Because they felt like the sun was dying. Those megalithic structures that are out there all over the world that mark these moments were that realization for people that's that new coming of life. It even represents us as a life cycle as people, until we get to our golden years and then the winter of our demise, if you will. And then hopefully we're spreading our seeds the whole time.
Exactly. And for people just have lost the connection, the good connection of becoming, of things working together, people working together. And man, we're all connected, whether you're somebody in the United Kingdom, somebody here in Canada, somebody in Australia, somebody in Russia, we're all connected. And I think that once we get rid of the religious dogma, the sociological dogmas, the political dogmas, and look at each other as humans, man, we're gonna make strides in this great planet of ours.
Well, yeah, it's the highway effect. I mean, if it says 100 and everybody's doing $1.20, that's the most important thing. It becomes kinetic, and I guess that's why I called it a common sense revolution. It's almost like not waving a flag or having a torch or a stick. It's just like, well, we know that's there. But once again, it becomes our choice whether we decide to participate in it. Look at some of the people that are out there that are these wonderful proponents of the right to know movements for food. It's not, they're saying, well, you want to grow your GMO food, that's up to you. Europe has already banned what's going on there. But, okay, then label it so we have the choice to vote with our dollar. And that sense of consciousness gives me a good feeling, because people then are now thinking, wait a minute, what is all this stuff? And if nobody knows, well, then I'm maybe not going to put that in my system.
Yeah. Plus, when you look at it that way, Ed, farmers are society's first line of defense.
Yes, I mean they are there on the front lines. I mean, up here with some of the seed companies and the way that they try to come into different farms. I mean, the farmers up here call them the men in black. A lot of Mennonites up here don't want any of them anywhere near their property, and that also gives me a lot of comfort, because they store all their seeds, they store all their potatoes, they store all their own corn. Why should they need to buy seeds?
Yeah.
And that's something people have been doing for thousands of years. Even look what Vandana Shiva did in India as far as cotton. And okay, what's like what Gandhi did. We're going to go collect salt. Vandana's like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to actually just share seeds, and we don't care what you say. So that's the most important thing. And that, once again, it sort of plays into the idea of like, well, we're not going to do that. We're just going to do our own thing.
Maybe we should have some more Farm Aid concerts.
I'm in. Let's call Willie right now. What's his number?
I'm
not kidding.
Hey, I think it's a great idea. Like, whatever happened to getting behind the cause, and letting our voices be heard, making the difference? Because, you know what? People laugh when I say I admire Donald Trump. He's done a lot for the U.S. system as well as the world, because what Donald has shown that the system does work. You just have to have the cahooties to make it happen.
Well, I think the idea is education and knowing what's right and what's wrong. I mean, the media is always trying to run some smear campaign or something in some kind of a way, and he has pointed that out in a very, particular way.
Sure.
I listen to Noam Chomsky enough times to know that he's been talking about the same thing for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody listens to Noam the same way they would listen to somebody like Donald, because he has a public forum.
Yeah. But like I was saying, what Donald has done is shown the people, as it says in the Constitution, we the people, or the Bill of Rights, we the people. Because for so long, the way I looked at it, it was I the person. But now, the Donald has shown all the Americans that it's really we the people. And I think that this is what's ticking the Washingtonians and the politicians off, is that he's opened the door for everyone.
Right. Well, and that's what I said. He has the public forum to be able to bring that into people's pocketbooks, if you will, because that's what's really being affected here. People's livelihoods, how they're being taxed, how they could run their businesses. That's and that's the thing. We are the government. The people is the government of Canada, the government of the United States, and when the people are saying good portion and asking questions and they're not getting answers, or they're getting backburnt or whatever it is, then something else is afoot. That there's more of a corporate agenda that's actually kind of pushing buttons. I've seen it happen with Monsanto in Canada. They set up shop at the University of Guelph. The Pharmacological Act that was going on out there, the Farmers Union is trying to talk to the minister. They're being ignored. I mean, that's kind of like a telltale sign that something's not right in the hen house, right?
It is. Exonation, my guest this hour is Ed Roman. He's a real good guy, Exonation, a good friend of the Exxon, and his website is www.edroman.net. He has a brand new album that is going to be released tomorrow, June the 7th, entitled Red Omen. Now, before I get back to Ed, I would just like to let everyone know that if you're enjoying listening to Ed and you're saying, well, geez, I've got to get into my car and I have to drive away and I won't be able to listen to him. Well, you know what? You're wrong, because did you know that now when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone, Dark 30, and every minute of the Mutual Broadcast Network by calling 605-562-4204. That's 605-562-4204, and that's courtesy of TalkStream Live. No smartphone app or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Once again, call 605-562-4204 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. And because I know, Explanation, you're going to want to go out and buy a copy of this album by Ed Roman. Ed, where can our listeners buy your album?
We can come to the website for sure. It's now available for pre-sale tonight. It will be available tomorrow for full sale on iTunes, Amazon, CD Baby. It'll be on 50 different locations out there. Just search Red Omen, Ed Roman, and you will find it, ladies and gentlemen.
So what's next for Ed Roman?
I'm shooting a video for that title track that you played, or not title track, sorry, I Am Love. And yeah, it's a bit of a haul, because not only am I going to be the entire band, but a whole bunch of people from like sort of everyday life, mechanics, waiter, cook, chef, dishwasher, electrician, businessman. You kind of name it, and that's my next release, is to do that video and to put it out there.
So what you're going to be doing is just showing everybody what you do in real life.
Yeah, there'll be a gardener in there somewhere with his hoe.
Oh, that's wonderful, Ed. Where's the video being shot?
All over Toronto, different locations up here in Shelburne, Melanchthon, Orangeville. My studio here, Area 51, which is just about attached to my house. I'm also looking for a red suit. If anybody knows where I can get a red suit, message me on Facebook. I need a red suit for that video, and it's hard to find a red suit, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not talking about Santa Claus.
I was just going to say I've got a Santa Claus suit I can lend.
No, I've already got those ones.
All right, well, geez, we'll have to. Let me see. How about any of these tux companies?
I thought about that, but usually, that's more like a crazy 70s thing, isn't it? Like, did they even have that kind of coloration?
Like the old disco style red tuxes.
Hey, man, if they had the wide lapels,
yeah. Oh my gosh, we're giving out. Well, I'm giving my age away. Everybody knows that. A lady met me the other day. She said, "Oh, you're Rob McConnell. You're the one that looks like Captain Kangaroo with white hair."
Oh,
I said, "Yep, that's me."
That's me.
That's me.
Hey, you know what? You're
put your hand.
As you feel, right?
Yeah, put your hand in my pocket, lady, and feel Mr. Bunny.
Right.
What the hell? Mind you,
here's a sticky mint for you, girlie.
Hey, if I'm Captain Kangaroo, pal, you're Mr. Green Jeans.
Right.
And then you got good old Mr. Remember the moose?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Sure. And the rabbit with all the ping pong balls.
Yeah, man, I grew up watching that stuff. There's a lot of things that I mentioned to some people, like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, okay, it's just a bit before your time.
Hey, Ed, stand by. You and I have to take our final break. Ed Roman's our special guest, X Zone Nation. His new album, Red Omen, is out tomorrow. It's available online everywhere. And visit his website, www.edroman.net. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell. And hey, listen, if you've got a red suit, what size do you wear?
Looking for a 34, 36 waist, and the lapels, if they're 4, 5, 6 inches, that's perfect.
All right. Let me know, X-Zone at xzoneradiotv.com, or go to Ed's site and you can contact him through there, edroman.com. We'll be back on the other side as we continue here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
Little children aren't the only ones afraid of the dark. Millions of soldiers return from war zones with PTSD, anger, frustration, fear, and loneliness, much of which surfaces during the darkness of the night. You have the chance to change the lives of these American heroes. Songs and Stories for Soldiers.us provides free MP3 players for these men and women. With a list of 3 million songs in 16 different styles, 100,000 audiobooks, and 30,000 old-time radio programs, every veteran can find something to soothe and comfort them at no cost. All our players contain an 8-hour audio program designed to help veterans fall asleep. With 1,500 plus vets now participating, it's our goal to deliver 10,000 audio players this year. Go to our website at songsandstoriesforsoldiers.us. Help us help a veteran make it through the night.
I am Dr. Carl O'Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
You're listening to the X Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. If you enjoy reading a good mystery with a touch of the paranormal, then you'll love From Out of the Woodwork by William S. Peckham. Sean Kennedy, a Toronto contractor, buys derelict houses, guts them, and turns them into multi-family dwellings. When Sean buys 29 Livery Lane, a century house in ruins, and starts the renovation, the house fights back. He is visited by ghosts of owners past. His visions are triggered by touching an oak mantle, reading a faded letter,
opening an old locket, or opening a brand new casket in the basement. These visions will take you on a trip across southern Ontario from Niagara Falls to Toronto to Kingston. From Out of the Woodwork is now available in paperback and on your favorite electronic reader. To order your copy of From Out of the Woodwork, go to www.williamspeckham.com. That's www.williamspeckham.com.
So tough a cookie to crack, but I hope I don't crumble. Singing hey, 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 sha-la-la-la-la-la. And you'd think a heart attack could make you humble. Singing hey, 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 sha-la-la-la-la-la. And in a word, self-described here as absurd and implications. Well, they're singing across the nation, singing hey, 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 sha-la-la-la-la-la. And in the cure, well, you can be rest assured in incarnation. Now leave your hesitations and sing hey, 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 sha-la-la-la-la-la-la. Singing hey, 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 sha-la-la-la-la-la-la. And now we're always hanging in the mumbo-jumbo, singing hey, 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 sha-la-la-la-la.
All right, guys, get back to work. Get back to work. Come on, everybody out of here. Everybody out of here. That's it. That's it. Craig, you don't look good in dreadlocks. Ed Roman's our special guest this hour, Exo Nation. Ed, I love your music. I always have, my friend. You're an asset to Canada.
Thank you so kindly, my friend, and I greatly appreciate the opportunity to be on your show. It means a lot to me.
Well, you know what, Ed? You and I go back, I don't know how many years it is now. But, you know, you're pretty grounded, and I think a lot has to do with it because that your hands are in the ground a lot. And I'm not trying to be funny here. I really believe that when you work with your hands, you work with your heart. And that work carries throughout your entire life, no matter what you do.
Amen, brother. I mean, you know, however you want to say it, I you know, and that's the thing I was saying. I was talking to my brother the other day, and, you know, all the different things that go through your conversations. Mm-hmm. But that's one thing we both realized, you know, when my dad left the building many years ago, that it kind of doesn't sink in till later in life that you start to realize those basic fundamental things that were taught to you. Yeah. Like I said, enthusiasm, learning how to use your mind and body in those kinds of situations. It all translates in so many aspects of your life that no app or computer program or anything can really on that level show you or describe unless you're actively doing it. So to me, saying that, my friend, it makes me feel so elated, and it makes me feel good as a person.
All right, so let me see your new album, Red Omen, released tomorrow, worldwide, on over 50 online sites. You're doing your video. You're looking for the red suit with wide lapels. What's next? Like, you're doing it, man. You are living the dream.
Well, I got a whole bunch of videos already in mind. Like, I wrote a tune for Wolfman Jack. Mm-hmm. On that record, and I'm going to be growing the full foo goatee and setting up my studio like an old radio station. And,
way to go!
You know, I really want to put out a lot of visuals for this record. I did 4 videos for the last record, including the one that you mentioned that I shot in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. But a big part of me is this theatrical aspect to even everything that I do. I mean, when I perform, I can't help but not let the art form itself take me over. And that's one of the beautiful things about art, is that it's always showing you something in some kind of way. So I'm excited to do all that stuff, you know, and to bring that to people. And I have a lot of fun doing it. So
I can certainly tell. Ed, don't be a stranger. Anytime the door's open, my friend, to you, continued success, and we look forward to seeing your video, and you in the red suit, and all the other parts, as well as hearing more great music from a great Canadian, Ed Roman.
Thank you so kindly, Rob. Appreciate it, and I appreciate X-Zone Radio for having me.
Take care, buddy.
Take care, bud.
Exo Nation, if you'd like to get more information on Ed Roman, his website is www.edroman.net. www.edroman.net, and we're going to go out to our next commercial break with the news, listening to more of Red Omen.
And I didn't believe you when somebody said that he fled with Jimi Hendrix to a UFO top base camp up on Machu Picchu.